And welcome back to our final tutorial in Unity for the terrain. Um, Basically what we've been doing, if you've been following the series, is we've been going through the terrain editor in Unity and using that to create our environment. As you can see, this is it as a whole, but we want to get a little bit closer on it, obviously. Um, I also want to throw a disclaimer out there. I have a very lively 3-year-old running around right now. So you may hear some off mic noises and things that you don't quite understand, but just overlook that. Okay, so we've got our uh, environment here. We've got our grass, our trees. We've got our first person controller. We've got our little pond here with our waterfall. We've got our mountain background. So this for this tutorial, I just really want to focus on maybe doing some small things to just kind of enhance the environment the way it looks. And as you can see, I've already kind of started working on the dirt path here because when we first laid down the dirt path here, it was a very you can see some of the dirt through the grass layer, but the dirt layer we laid on with a pretty low opacity, so it doesn't come through very much. It just obviously shows you the path itself, but dirt paths usually have dark darker dirt in the middle, and then it kind of fades out to the sides. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this dirt texture we've got right here, which we've already got in our terrain, and there it is. Let's click on the paint. We've got our dirt right here. So what we can do, as you can see, we've already kind of got started here, but I'm just going to go back over that because I'm not sure. I think it's already set. Yeah, okay. So it's already set like we need it to be. We're just going to pretty much go through and just make our dirt path look a little more realistic, and have the dirt um, have the dirt darker in the middle, and then kind of leading up to the sides. Not as have it not as dark when it's going up to the sides, and kind of fading into the grass a little bit better, because dirt paths are usually not just one just one solid color, and then that's it, and then all of a sudden you just have grass. Usually, if you look at dirt paths, and I've seen a lot considering I live in a very rural, is that how you say it? Rural part of the county I stay in. So I see a lot of dirt roads, but they always kind of lead up to the grass. It's not a very usually it's not uh, just going from dirt to grass. That's it. So here what we're going to do is we're going to have some dirt in the middle, and then what we're going to do is come back and kind of darken this up a little bit, and that'll make our dirt path look a little bit better. Actually, I'm kind of liking the way it looks now. I don't know if we're going to darken it up or not. We'll see. I hope you've enjoyed these tutorial series so far. In the next series, what we're going to be doing is importing some of our own models and some of our own textures into the environment using the import assets of the import assets function in Unity. You can actually import models, and the good part about that is Unity uses meters for their distances in their engine. So when you're modeling in 3ds Max, you can actually model, or in Maya, you can actually model in meters, and have your model scale the way you want it to look as soon as you drop it into the engine. So there's not really a whole lot of scaling. There shouldn't be a whole lot of scaling involved once you put your model into the engine. because if you know what size you want it to be in relation to the environment or other objects in the environment, you can just scale it out and measure yourself, um, and then create it specifically that size in Max or Maya. Excuse me. Now, for the purpose of our demonstrations later on in the tutorial series, we'll be using Max more than likely because that's what I have the most experience in. Um, Although Maya, obviously, you can do the same things, if not even more, with it than you can Max. So, and we're almost done with our little path here. And don't worry about, if you're doing something like this, don't worry about making it perfect. If you're like me, you're sitting there and you obsess over every little detail. Uh, does this rock look right in this place, or does this path follow the curvature of the terrain in relation to the grass well enough? I mean, those are things you want to pay some attention to them, obviously. But the biggest thing is, number one, nature isn't very perfect in its design as far as things like this go. When you have meandering, it's kind of like meandering paths through jungle scenes like this. Um, if you look at a real scene like this, maybe in a jungle somewhere, it doesn't look very what's the word I'm looking for? Thought out. It's kind of just that's how that path turned out. After years of use and uh, erosion and things of that nature, that's just how it came to look. And it doesn't really have to have any rhyme or reason to it. It just has to serve its purpose of guiding the player and looking realistic enough to create that sense of disbelief, to create the illusion. That's really all there is to it. Um, okay, like this. I'm sorry. This path, for example, is the dirt doesn't really go exactly down this line of grass, which is fine. It doesn't have to. Sometimes I catch myself obsessing over things like that. And it's really not going to matter to the player, because if you're in a combat environment, you got hostiles coming at you, you're shooting back. You're not looking at the relation of the dirt to the grass and the path. You're not concerned with that. You're trying to take out the enemy. So remembering how the player is going to see your environment is crucial to the pipeline of actually creating the environment, because sometimes you'll end up spending way too much time worrying about stuff that isn't even going to matter in the end, and you may possibly end up not paying enough attention to something that's going to be very important. So with that said, let's hit play and let's look at our new little path and see how it looks in relation to the rest of our scene. All right, we got our water, we got our, yep, we got all that. And then when we come down, we've got our dirt. We've got our dirt path looks good. If you look down, you're going to see dirt. If you look over here, you're going to see grass. You see a nice little lead up of grass from the dirt to the thicker grass. So, I have to say overall, considering we haven't put a very large amount of time into creating this environment, I'd say probably over the span of the videos, maybe less than an hour and a half of time creating this. This is a pretty decent looking level for now. We're obviously going to keep doing work on it. So, as usual, if you like what you've seen, if it's helped you any, if it has entertained you in the slightest bit, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for our next tutorial videos where, like I said, we'll be focusing on importing our own models and our own textures. All right, thank you very much, and have a great evening.